Hi folks, I hope you're keeping well. Today we've got quite a nice lesson. We're going to be watching two videos. I want you to be making notes as we go through, but if you just put just a general title, Rio de Janeiro, and what we're going to be doing is to aim, what the outcomes are, is to see imagery of Rio and listen to some of the opportunities and challenges of living there and to explore the impact of the Olympics. But before we get into the main part of the lesson, I just want to do a quick quiz. So just 1 to 3, do the questions. We've already seen these questions before, so it should be really easy. So pause the video here and do these questions. So here are the answers. So what is the difference between push and pull factors? So a push factor is something that makes people want to leave an area. And so we've been thinking about people wanting to leave rural sort of countryside areas. So that might be, for example, lack of jobs or lack of food or some kind of drought or some kind of natural disaster. Pull factors are things that draw people to an area. So you're not going to leave an area and then go to somewhere equally as bad. You'll aim to go and improve your life. So they'll think, right, I want to go to the city because I could probably get a job there, which will pay me a lot more money. Might be able to get better healthcare and better education. Number 2, give 2 reasons why cities grow. So the main reason is rural to urban migration. So people moving from the countryside to the cities, for the reasons we've just mentioned. However, another reason is internal growth or natural increase. So this is where there are more births than there are deaths in the city. Remember, they've got better healthcare, so that's more likely to happen, which will decrease the death rate. But probably more importantly is the people that are most likely to migrate to a city are those people aged between about 20 to 35. And so are the group of people that are most likely to have children. And so therefore the birth rate rises as well. Question 3, give 2 challenges caused by the urban growth at Rio. So there are a number of different challenges that you could have included. I've just included some here, but you may have had other ones as well. So only half the children continue education past the age of 14 due to a lack of teachers and the need for those children to earn money. 12% of Rio's population had no running water. I think it's now up to 95% have running water, so just 5% without it. Many who do access water get it illegally. Powerful gangs control drug trafficking in favelas. Murders and kidnappings are common. Many poor families illegally tap into mains electricity supplies. They also have frequent power cuts. A lot of people are unemployed, so the unemployment rate can be over 20%. Most people work there in the favelas working informal jobs. These are jobs which are not regulated, are not really recognised by the government, so therefore they won't pay taxes. But a lot of it will be cash in hand type work. There is a huge variation in access to healthcare in different areas of Rio. So life expectancy is 48 in Machina, which is very low, almost medieval, to 80 in Bahar. Okay, I realise I might pronounce Bahar wrong. Okay, several times, so apologies for that. Right. So the first video of the 2 that we're going to watch today is an old video, but still really good and really useful for understanding Rio. So you'll need to find this link on Satchel 1. But before you do that, look at these 9 questions in the blue box. I would want you to write the questions down and leave 2 lines in between each one so that you can answer them as you watch the video. So pause the video now, write the questions down, and then find the link to this video in Satchel 1 and watch that. So hopefully you've watched the video now and made some notes. Here are some notes that I made just in case you missed anything. So number 1, how have residents transformed Machina? Well, they have made regular improvements. It's often a thing to do on Saturdays. People get together and they make improvements to the houses. So most of the houses now look relatively substantial and solid, made of bricks and so on, and have access to water and electricity, even if it is illegal. Number 2, how do residents show excellent community spirit? Well, it's shown by the fact that they all get together, not everyone, but everyone has mates who get together and help to do DIY, and they take it in turns to help each other improve each other's houses. Number 3, give examples of how people earn money. It's often informal work. Remember, it's unregulated, not recognised by the government. They won't pay taxes. They won't have a pension plan. So, for example, they may be selling fruit and vegetables on a market on the side of a road. They might be reading fortunes. The little boy went and looked after people's cars. Number 4, how does Leandrew, so that's the little boy, spend his time? How does he earn, and what does he do with his money? So he likes to play with his friends and also earns money by asking people if they want their cars looking after. They will give him a little tip, so they might be £3 or £4. He said he likes to spend a little bit on it in the pinball machine before giving the rest to his mum. Now that would be needed. His family will be struggling to make ends meet, and so by him giving a little bit of money and then a little bit of money, he'll be helping buy the food for that week, I suppose. Number 5, what are the challenges in Rio? So the video showed a large challenge created by traffic. There are a number of challenges that we've looked at in the last 2 lessons, but the key one here was traffic. The mountains prevent the city from growing and causes it to be overcrowded. There are several other challenges we covered in previous lessons, so just note that that wasn't the only challenge. What's Bahia like? So it's 20 kilometers from the city centre. It's built on flat land by the sea. Most people who live there are relatively wealthy, and it's much cleaner and safer. So it's basically a new city built on the outskirts of Rio, and most people who live there have to be relatively wealthy and rich to be able to afford a place out there. Number 7, what are the projects in the favelas and how will they improve people's lives? So there are a number of different factors. So setting up new creches, schools and roads. So if you've got setting up creches, for example, that allows people to work. So they're not having to look after their children, they can work and earn money. Schools, well, if people are kept in schools, they're more likely to get good qualifications, so therefore they can get a good job. Some road access, that allow people to get in and out of the place, favelas, and into the city centre easier, which will help them in making money and getting jobs. They might be able to spend more time earning money rather than travelling. Some people have been given money to rebuild some houses. Okay, it didn't exactly show that, but it showed some new favela houses being built. I suppose they're not favelas anymore, but they're like people who used to live in favelas having new houses built for them, which were a little bit more substantial. This will allow people to work in their businesses and have better jobs overall. Number 8, why is it important to get the police on side? Well, it's important to tackle corruption so people can trust the police. This will in turn allow them to better tackle gang crime, which kind of links into question 9. Why do you think people haven't liked the police in the past? Well, there's been a huge amount of corruption. Police have been known to take bribes, so take money from gangs to turn a blind eye to their criminal activities. They have also killed people who are not connected to the crime. So often they might have open gunfights with the gangs, and people have been known to get caught up in crossfire or just wrongly killed because they were thought to be part of gangs when they weren't. So there are a number of different factors there. So just hopefully you've got some notes for each of those questions. So this is the second of the 2 videos that we're going to watch. Now, it's important to know that Rio has been the home and the host to the Olympic Games in 2014 and the Football World Cup in 2016. So this was a big event for them, and they had to try and spruce up their city in readiness for it so that they impress their foreign people who are coming in and who may then eventually invest in the city and help create money and wealth and jobs in the area and maybe come back as tourists. So I want you to watch this video. It should be on Satcher 1, so you might have to pause it now and go to find this video. As you watch it, I want you to make a list of the positive and negative impacts of hosting the Olympics in Rio. So what were the positive and negative impacts of hosting the Olympics in Rio? You might wish to do it as a table. Also, once you've done that, I want you to justify whether you think the Olympics was a good thing for Rio and the people in the favelas. So you should attempt to take both sides to use information from the clip and your own thoughts and knowledge. Remember to see, so social, economic and environmental. Social is to do with people and their happiness and families and so on. Economic is to do with money and jobs. And environment is how it protects the environment. So pause the video now, find the YouTube clip and watch the second video. So hopefully you've watched the video now. I just wanted to jot down some of my key positives and negatives of hosting the Olympics. So when I watched it, these are some of the key points I picked up. You may have more. You may need to wish to jot some of these down. But so positives. So Rio was aiming to impress foreign visitors, so they made improvements to the city, such as new parks, stadiums, and museums. So they made new attractions and new things to do, I suppose, and new facilities for the people of Rio. Some people in the favelas got new, nice-looking houses made for them. So I thought those people did quite well out of it in the end, really. They ended up getting new houses built for them in a relatively nice part of the city. So I feel like they did quite well in the end. Negatives. The authorities tried to hide the favelas from sight. So they were kind of embarrassed by the favelas, so they wanted to hide them, which doesn't show a nice community spirit within the city. 77,000 people moved from their homes, some relatively forcibly as well. Remember, the people don't actually have any rights to their homes. They don't own the land. They shouldn't technically be there. They are squatting in that area. So it's possible for the government to push people out. People are moved up to 90 minutes from the city centre to a new area. So people, it takes a long time to then get into the city centre where their jobs may be. And changes to the bus route made it harder for people in the North Zone to get to the city centre. So those are some key negatives and positives that I spotted. So that's the main part of the lesson completed. I want you to go back to Teams now and explain to your teacher on the Q&A whether you thought the Olympics and the World Cup were good for Rio. So do you think it was overall a good thing or overall a bad thing for Rio?